welcome to this afternoon's Facebook Live here at Hixie Crafts. It's lovely to have your company here, or if you're watching on the YouTube channel as well. Welcome. Make sure you hit like on our page, and please say hello and ask any questions that you have throughout the afternoon. I have 4 projects to share with you this afternoon. I've got 2 that are die cutting, very paper craft, and then I have a very inky project here, and then this bright funky one with some stenciling too. Okay, so hopefully something for everyone. Okay, let's put these in my boxes so that I know where I'm at with these, and we are going to start with this card. This is a Twisted Easel card. It's really sort of pretty colours that I've used, but obviously you can use whatever you fancy. Now, the central part of this is this die. Oops, excuse me, got that already. This die here, which is from Janine's art from the Happy Birds collection, and this is called the Circle of Flowers, which is why although I've gone for a square easel base, I've gone for a sort of a circle sort of matten layer with it. I'm just going to put that down so that I can just show you. We're going to do a little bit of paper piecing with this die as well, because these lovely big areas really sort of cry out for that and help them to stand out from the rest of the die cut. So first thing is our base card. So what I've done is I have cut a piece of ivory card, and I've cut it. It's 5 7/8, which I think is half of A4. I think it's 5 7/8 by pretty much the same. I'm pretty sure that's what I've done. It's almost a 6 by 6. It's what you can get out of an A4 sheet of card. So I seem to have I've had a bit of a mind melt on my measurements there. So what I'm going to do, and this will be the test as to whether those are my measurements when I score it, and see whether it folds in half. So I am going to score this at 5 7/8. Let's see how we go. In half there. Yay! So pretty much 5 7/8, which makes me think it's out of the one piece of card. Where's my bone folder? It is. Now, I am then going to open this out, and I want to score. I'm just going to. So this is where I'm at so far. I want to score along this line, so from there to there. So I'm just going to put my scoring tool in my 5-inch line and line that at the bottom, and then line my top corner also on the 5-inch line, so that I can come down on there, and then we'll fold that over, and so there is our base for our Twisted Easel card. So that's that bit like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the die cutting. I'm going to cut this out of this pink card. So I'm going to start by cutting it out of there, and then I'm also going to cut it out of the pattern paper. It's quite a heavyweight paper. I think it's about 180, so it's not really thin, but it's not card. So let's start with this. Let's get some tape on our die, and we will put it through our machine. And get that cut. Okay. And here it comes out. There we go. Turn it over and just see. Oh, okay. So I have a why is that not working? That'll be because there's no plastic shim in there. I did wonder, it kind of felt like it didn't want to go through. I mean, it did take it. Let's try that again. Take 2. Unfortunately, it's live, so there's no redos on this. Let's see if this feels better. There you go. Yeah, you can hear it starting to cut that time. Phew! I was thinking the machine was broken for a split second there. That would have been a great start, but not to worry. We'd have coped. We'd have done something. Right, let's just check that it has cut. Oh yes, it looks like it's all cut out there. Okay. Now that's all fine and dandy. Just going to make sure this is clean, because otherwise it gets caught in the next one. I'm going to take this out. Now, for this one, you can see that already a couple of the bits have fallen out, which is fine for this because I'm about to brush them all out. But when we do it with the pattern paper, I need to be a little bit more careful, because I don't want them all falling out, because I want to be able to stick them into place without, and know which one's which. So I'm just going to clean the die out, get a good brush over, and we just take this out. You see pretty much everything's out. It's just a few little bits. Grab my pokey tool, a few little bits in there, hanging on there. Okie dokie. Right, so make sure our die is clean, because otherwise it won't cut cleanly the next time. Oh, look, we've got lots of bits over there. Let's go with that with the brush. I think we're clean. Right, so let's put this in the bin. Now, before I cut that die with the paper, what I want to do is I want to get this stuck down onto the cream circle, so that I'm not then fussing around with the bits falling out of here and me not ready to stick things on here. So I'm going to stick this down. Whoops, it doesn't matter which way around, because obviously you can turn it later. So just grab our glue and a bit of paper. Just make sure our glue is working. Yes. And I'm going to put glue on all these big bits. I'm not going completely out to the edge, because some of these bits don't actually stick. They hang over a little bit the edge of this cream circle, but as long as the majority is stuck, then we are all well and good. Okay, we're done. There's a bit there, it's got stuck. Out the other side, there you go. And stick this onto our circle. Okay, so that's now there, ready. I'm gonna get down a bit, and you can see, hopefully the camera can put this up, you've got some lovely little embossing bits on here as well. Okay, right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to put that back in my glue so it doesn't dry up in the heat of the lights. There we go. I'm going to cut the die out of the paper. Okay, now this is where I need to be careful. This is why this is already ready to go, because I want to be ready to stick this down. Tape on the die, and then we're going to put this through our machine. Goes. Now move this out the way. Be ready with my glue and my pokey tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over. This could be interesting. Okay, so I've already got some bits that have come out. So I am just going to take this off. And before I move it here, I'm going to try and fit, my hair, I'm molting. I'm going to try and fit these back in then I know which bit's where. It's a lot easier to do it way now than in a minute. So that bit, no, that bit is going to be from there. You can put some low-tack tape behind it if you think it will help. I have a feeling that as soon as I turn this over in a moment, it's all going to fall out again. So I'm not gonna worry too much, but it does help if it's all in place and you can see what's come from where. So let's move that to the side. Just brush off the bits from my plate and those. Right, okay, so I am going to this is what I might do is I might just no, I'm not. I'm going to try to put my hand over that and turn it over and you can see where we're going. Right, so I'm going to try and make my flower around the right way, and that bit I've just dropped out is that bit there. So I'm going to put my glue on and then I am going to stick that in there. Okay, I look like I've lost that bit. It's probably in the bin, but not to worry, we'll just keep going because it's not there. And that bit is from here. That's a case of me not looking carefully enough at what I was doing just now when I put the bits in and checking whether I've got anything left. My thing is not working. There we go. That one goes in there. This one is here. But I'm going to put the glue in these little bits so that we can just get going with them. Where's my thing? So this can be a bit fiddly, but I think the effect is worth it. You know, you could get really intricate and do lots of these little bits as well, but I think for me that's just a step too far. Bit should be this bit here, there. Okay, now I already know that a couple of these bits have fallen out here. Right, so this bit I know is here. Oh, they're falling out all over the place. Let's turn that over and put that bit in there. Now these two bits are here and here. So I'm thinking that one there. No. Wrong one. That's all right. Use my pokey tool to get that out. That one actually is this one there. This one is that one there because it's got that little dip in it. Okay. Let's, where should we go? Let's go to that one there. Oh, I can feel them falling out in my hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue in all the little bits and hopefully we'll find all the pieces. So this one is, that's not wanting to pick up with my little tool. There. That goes in there. Go with that one. In here. Oof. So as I was saying, this is a bit fiddly, but I think it is worth it for the effect that you get. But again, if you're really into little fiddly things, you can do even more of the bits. This was enough for me. These big bits, as you can see, already managed to lose some. I'm not too worried. This bit I've lost here, I'm not going to go searching for because what I'll do is I'll use that on the base of the easel. So it's not too much of an issue. I think this one must have come out. Where did that come out from there? that one in there. There we go. This bit goes in here. Let's see if I can get the tiny little bit that goes in next to it. There it is. Will that pick up with that? Yes. That bit goes in there. That's good. That bit in there. Oh, we're nearly there now. It is going to annoy me that I've lost that bit, but I'm going to try and get over it. Just move on. Right. There we go. See. Okay. And there, and then got the circle that goes in the middle of this. And I felt the other one needed something in the middle, so I used one of the little flowers. Oh, not that from there, from that one that'll come out there. Oh, where are you going to come out from? Oh, it's because I'm not pushing the flower out, I'm pushing the dye out there. Let's see what we've got. That's what I want. There. Does it come out? There we go. There's a nice little star to go in the centre of that one. Okay, right. So, no, don't look, because I'll be there forever. I did do that when I was doing that. It was like one bit I'd lost, but never mind. It's not that bit, is it? No, just stop, Carol. Right, okay, so you will be thankful, I'm sure, to know that I have already done the other one, so you don't have to watch me doing that twice. So let's put the lid on, not the lid, the pin in my glue there, and let's get the other bits out for my card. Okay, so what I didn't say, and I haven't got the pack with me, I don't know where it's gone. I've used, this is from Trimcraft Sentiments die set, which I've used quite a lot in the videos. So yeah, so that's where that's from. So yeah, you can see I've got that one that I've just done. We've got this one, which I had already done. We'll use that one for the top because it's got that little bit that I'm missing. And then I've got my mats and layers here for my card. So now it's just a case of getting everything assembled. So I'm going to start by gluing all of these together. So these I've just cut with a set of large circle dies. If you don't have circle dies, you could quite easily just do it with just do it on the squares. Just use this and stick it onto a square, which you can cut with your trimmer. So it's not essential. I just quite like the effect of having the circle coming off of the half square there. Ooh. Add the glue. And then glue this one. On there. So that's the two bits. I'm going to glue this onto here. And then this onto, just in case I didn't realise which way up it went, I've done my little arrows. Sometimes I do forget, particularly when I'm doing a live, my brain all goes to mush. Sometimes I need that little reminder of what I'm doing. So, there, and then this is for base. Again, I've got my little arrows to make sure I get it all up the right way. Stick that one on there. Like so. And then this onto the card. That. Okay, so let's find the one that I lost a little piece out of. This one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because the thing will come across there, I'm going to stick that so that the little piece is kind of hidden up under there. You won't see it so much. Let's see how I did it there. It's pretty much what I did there. Same way around. There, just a little bit further around. Let's go there. Stop faffing and just stick it. Right, so this goes on like that, and my circle just about touches the edges on there. And then this, on this one, I've got to remember not to put glue over the whole lot. So I am just going to get a pencil and I'm just going to give myself a couple of little lines and a little scribble to know that I need to put the glue on this bit here. And then I have to make sure I actually do line that up. There we go. That's our bit on the top. And then all we need now is our little stopper, which is the Best Wishes sentiment from Trimcraft. And I've cut it in the pink, and I've put some, as you can see, some of the ivory card behind it so that it pops through like that. And then I'm going to put 3D glue because we need this raised, because this is the stopper, if you like, for our easel. Stop it just collapsing down. And I'm going to put that on there. I'm just gonna put my finger there, otherwise it's, because this is still wet, it's just gonna sort of knock it off. But so that's our first project. It was quite quick for me to do because I've done a fair bit of prep. The most fiddly thing is doing the paper piecing, but it's the sort of thing that you can do, you know, sat in front of the telly, if you know, it's something that you can just sort of fiddle with then. But yeah, it's certainly effective. It's certainly worth taking the time in doing that. Okay, so I'm going to put this wet one to one side and fold it down like that, otherwise that's not going to dry. So project one done. Okay, let's move. So number two is another of our die cutting ones. So let's get this out. This is the one we are going to look at next. Bear with me while I just find, oh no, who knows where the pin's gone. Right, we're just going to have to hope the glue doesn't dry up. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Right in front. So put the pin in the glue. There we go. Right. This die, what I've used is this die here. This is Leaf Frame from Precious Mariecki from the Beautiful Garden collection. This is, like I said, Leaf Frame. And I've cut it twice. If you can see, there's once here and once here. And I've layered it. But I've also put some paper behind the bit where it overlaps to sort of make it pop. And that's pretty, excuse me, that's pretty much all I've done. The flower is an Elizabeth Crafts it's Clematis. It's one I've used quite a bit in the past. It just has a nice little focal point. And this is the same die set that I got the Best Wishes from for the last card, from the Trimcrafts Sentiments collection. Oh, which I do actually have in this box. That's why I couldn't find it in the previous one. So this is the Celebrate. This is the Best Wishes I used in the previous one. Okie dokie. So let's start by doing our die cutting. And we're going to cut plain white. Now the base I've used Centura Pearl, Snow White, the hint of silver, but I've cut the dies from just plain white stamping card, and the flowers are going to be from the Centura Pearl. I think, yeah, I've already done the sentiments, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm going to do these, try and do them at the same time. I only want these two. I have already cut the centre. I literally have used the two sort of 4 petal dies, and I used the centre twice, one from the pattern paper. She's saying that, yeah, one from the pattern paper and one from the plain sort of purple card. So let's put that to one side. So that's what I need to cut. Let's get it stuck down and through the machine. So let's put this there and there, and I'm going to cut that bit off so that I can hopefully get both these bits on the same platform. I only need to run it through one, and ooh, best not to tape myself. I need to tape the dies. So those two across there. There. Okay, that's my plate. And those there. Through. Now, as I said, I do need 2 of those. So I have already cut one, and I've got my other bits here as well. Don't lose that. That. Ooh, everything's falling out. With me. Right. Die there. By the look of it, everything's cut nicely there. That's good. And these, yep, those are cut as well. So let's start by getting the flowers out. These are the easiest ones. They just pop out. There's no other bits, and they've got a lovely embossed line down each petal. Let's put those back. Trying to stay tidy as I go. Oh yes, he says throwing things all over the place. At least then the die sets stay together and I don't have to spend hours tomorrow sorting out. Right, that's done. And don't need the outside edge, that can go. Take off the tape, and then I'm going to run my brush over and I'll get the bits up from there. I think that's all of it. There's a few little bits around the edges there. I am going to make sure the die is clean because my next demo also uses this die, but in a very, very different way. That's all that a little bit there. Let's check the die. I just think one little bit there. Oh no, there's another bit there. And there. All the tiny, teeny, weeny, teeny bits. Okay, so I'm going to put that die over there. That one's still there. And get rid of my rubbish. In. Okay, so now again, this is once you've got your bits die cut, it's just a case of assembling. So I've done so I've cut the die twice. I've got 2 of the 4 petal flowers. I've cut the center from the flower in this pattern paper and again in the card. So I've got a card. Let's make sure I'm doing this card around the right way. There we go. And then more of the Centura Pearl and then I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Let's get this bit on first. Put this on, and as I've been quite helpful to myself and put an up arrow to show which way to stick it on. The reason, it might sound weird, is the reason was when I do this size card cut from a piece of A4, it's not quite a 6x6. It's usually 6 inches one way, and I think it's something like 5 7/8 the other way. The measurements I was sort of faffing with earlier. So if you cut a mat, it doesn't fit both ways. So just for ease, even when I do at home my own crafting, I do when I'm cutting my mats and layers, I do tend to put an arrow on the back to remind me. So that's that done. So now I'm going to stick this on here. Onto there. Okay, and now I am going to stick this onto this. Now, what I'm doing, I want to see the purple, but I want it as close to that white border as I can. So I'm going to turn it the other way, put it down this way, and fiddle around so it's where I want it. And then with my pencil, I'm just going to kind of basically draw along the edge. Just be careful because there are some very delicate little bits that move, but as long as you've got kind of an idea. So I kind of got a bit of a line along here and then down here. So what I want to do, first of all, is remove that little bit. What I want to do is to put glue on like all these leaf bits that are within that area. That's all I'm going to do. Just on the leafy bits. And I keep seeing bits. It's one of those really intricate dies that you don't at first see all the bits that are caught. Come on, glue. I do apologise, I've got this bit of hair. This bit of hair is doing my head in today. Every time I lean my head forward, it seems to just want to flop forward and it's tickling my nose. So I do apologise if I'm a little bit sniffy. Oh, look, there's another one. Goodness me. Keep going. Right, so my line's there, so I'm just going to keep going on my leaves and make sure I've got as many of them as I can, if not all of them. Just gives as many different points of adhesion as I can across the area. I think that's probably going to be it. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it down on the top and press down. Okay, so that's now glued to there. Okay, now I then, we make that bit there. I then want to do the same this way. Okay, so what I need to do is this time I need to lie it there, and again just mark on as best as I can. I seem to be drawing more on the back of this one than on this one, just to give me an idea of the limits of where to put my glue. Okay, and same as before, I'm going to put the glue on all my leaf parts, all my leaves, and as much of this. I did consider when I first decided to do it this way just sticking this in the middle, and then it was like I tried it to place it, and goodness me, I struggled to get it in the right place. And so this was my solution. It doesn't have to be yours, but it's the solution that for me has worked. I'm hoping I'm supposed to do that. I think I am. It's the solution that has worked for me. But obviously you will find your own easy ways. And if you do have any, you can feel free to let me know. I knew that was the wrong bit. It's this bit that should have had it on. Not to worry. It's stuck. Let's just cover that over and give it all a good press. So that's now all stuck. And this can now go, oh, look, the pin's stuck too. Right, around this way. So we're now going to stick this down onto here. And I'm going to go around the edge with my glue. And back here is going to be the main part of the sticking. And then around there and there and along here. And then just make sure this is the right way up. Stick this on there. And again, let me get my little bit of paper up, and then a good rub down over the top. And there we have that. So now is our flower. Now all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to just give it a little bit of shape with my fingers. I don't need to use a ball tool. The centre of pearl is quite thick, but it will take a little bit of shaping like that. So we're going to put the glue in the middle. Oops, there. Give a little bit of a push, and then I'm probably gonna regret this. I'm gonna slightly change what I'm doing. I'm going to stick this one onto the purple, and then I'm going to stick this one on the top. Just gives me it makes it a little bit more manageable on this base. I'm going to put that in the middle. There's my little white tool. It's gone. Use this there, and a bit of glue on this one. Okay. Oh, that one's not quite stuck. Let's push that back down again. So that's one side for a sec. Let's do the bow, and we can do the way. Our bow's got a bit squished in the pack. 3D glue gel is what we want. 3D glue gel there for our bow, and then a bit behind our Celebrate. I do like this sentiment collection. I like these ones where you can put a colour behind to really make it kind of pop. And then we're just going to put a little bit of glue gel underneath the circle. And I'm going to just turn this till I'm happy with the way it looks. There. So there is our finished card. So, ooh, that doesn't go on there. Let's put this in here, and let's just have a recap of what we've done so far. So we made the first the Twisted Easel card, and we used that lovely circle of flower dies from the Happy Birds collection. This has used this beautiful garden leaf frame die, just cut twice with our clematis die in the middle and our Celebrate. Two really lovely, fairly straightforward die cutting projects, but yeah, they look really, really effective. Okay, so that's project number 2. But number 3, we're going to stick with this die, but this is a completely different kind of way of using this die. So let's just reset myself. One box away. So this is our next project. Now you might say, well, okay, how did you use this? Well, you can see it a little bit here, but I've also used it on the background as a stencil. So we're gonna have a look at how to do that. I have the stamps are from this lovely set, this All and Create at One with Nature set, which we're going to stamp out in a moment. So we've got some inky, messy round background things, and then some stamping again with a bit of ink. And what the colours I'm using, I've got a bit of black soot, I've got fired brick and cracked pistachio, and I've also got the fired brick and the cracked pistachio that way around in the distress spray. So that's the colours that I am using on this. I have stamped the actual images with the Spectrum Noir waterproof die, because particularly on this one, I've actually painted with the distress inks, and I didn't want the actual stamp to run. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with the inky background, and then that can be slightly drying while we're doing other things. So let's put the die and the stamps to one side. Now I have used watercolor card for this. The way I've done this is very much like how I do things in my art journal. So I kind of went for a similar sort of texture paper to the one I would use in there. So we're going to start by doing our inking with our 2 pads. Bear with me while I grab my brushes. I've got one for my pistachio, and this one will do for fired brick. With my brushes, I don't have one for every ink, but I do have a few for each colour collection, so I kind of roughly know which brushes to use. I'm just going to put it's a bit cold in here today, so I've got lots of layers on, so my sleeves are a little bit, so just pulling them up. Right, so we're going to start literally by inking our piece of card. And there's a rule, I suppose people talk about the rule of 3, cutting things into or separating things into 3 sections. So it's pretty much what I've done here. I've done the fire brick in from the edge and the cracked pistachio in the middle. And in fact, thinking about it, I did do the cracked pistachio first, which I will do now. So I am just literally loading the brush, because once you've got the ink, this will sit. So I felt like I shouted then, I do apologise. This will sit on the top of the card for a little while, and that's what allows you to blend. I don't know, you can kind of see it's a little bit still shiny where it's still wet, and that's what we want, because we want to be able to, for this layer, we want to be able to blend these 2 together. They're not, for example, if you were blending red and orange and yellow like I will be on the next project, then those colours blend quite well. They kind of merge into one another. But red and green don't do that. So you've got to be careful that you don't end up with a muddy mess. I'm just using a piece of tissue to try and stop some mess on my hands, but also to stop me putting my fingerprints over the top of that bit that I've already inked. So what I'm doing is I'm now doing my fired brick in this corner, and now obviously that doesn't look very blended. So, and a lot of people worry about brushes getting contaminated. I do this all the time, and I've not really had an issue with it. So all I'm doing is I'm going over, and I get some more. See, look, there's no red come on there. A bit more green on here. Let's take my green over into the red. And the red is on, in any medium, red is a very, very strong pigment. So it does tend to dominate. So just be a little bit careful. As you can see, I probably got a bit more red in there than I would perhaps have wanted. But you can see it is definitely much more blended than it was before. So let's do the same this corner. I'm not going to take the red into the green so much this time, just up to it, and then I'll bring the green so that I don't lose that green. I was going to use it anyway, never mind, let's just go with it. It all looks fine, it will all come out in the wash. Now this, as I said, this is at the moment, this is quite wet on the surface, which is why I'm able to move it around, why I'm able to blend it. But what I want now is for that to be set before I put the sprays on. So I'm just going to move it to the side. We're just going to clean this up a little bit with my water and a bit of rice paper. Okie dokie, down there for now. So I'm going to just get my this thing, heat tool. Sorry, brain has just gone. Okay, so with that heat set, now when I spray onto it, the spray is not going to sort of melt in with the inks. It will sit on the top. So let me show you what I mean. So the sprays, there's a ball bearing in. Oh, you can hear my Gemini rattling when I do that. You can do them up and down. If you're going to do them up and down, take the lid off and put a little bit of paper towel over the top so that you don't lose all the ink. Okay, so what should we start with? Let's start with the Cracked Pistachio. Okay. This I love this one, as it gives a really nice splatter effect. Okay, and you can see that that's kind of sitting on the top. I'm going to use a little bit of the fired brick. I don't want to use too much because, again, like I said, red is a quite a strong pigment. So that's all I'm going to use of that one, but it's enough to have just given that kind of speckledy look and splattered look through the middle. And again, I'm just going to move that to one side and clean up. Here. Okay, that's that done. And then I'm going to get, hopefully this will work. Sometimes it has a, oh yes it will, that's good. So I'm just going to dry this off. You can see, particularly with the Cracked Pistachio spray over the top of the fired brick ink, it really does sit beautifully on the top of that. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. I haven't finished with it, But there is something I now need to do ready for the next stage, and that is to cut the die. So I'm using white card, and I am going to just cut this with the machine. Through. Ooh. And out. Go. So we're going to use this. Just make sure it's cut. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. Over there. We're going to use this in two ways. We're going to use it like a stencil, and I don't know if you can see here the red. That's where I've used it as a stencil, and then these bits here, that's where I've literally just cut the stencil up and used it as a little bit of texture. So put that in the bin. Get my brush. A few more bits come out. Let's just have a quick look. Same bits that I was poking out just now, those little bits there. Ooh, that wasn't what you wanted to do. What bits were stuck in the card now? Where was that? There. Okay. Oh, and that one there. Okay, that'll do. As I'm gonna cut it up anyway. It's not a huge issue. Let's put the die back in there. And clean up my mess. Oh, I can see I've managed to spray the table, so I am just going to try and clean that up before I completely stain the table. Maybe too late. Okay, right. What I did before I used this as a stencil was I cut off two of the edges with my scissors, just because it gave it less of a hard edge. When you're stenciling, you don't kind of want always a hard defined edge. Ooh. So just cut those bits off. Oh, I did. Oh, my scissors getting really in the way. Okay, now I'm going to use it as a stencil, and I'm going to start with using cracked pistachio, and we're going to use it over here. So I'm just going to get, I'm not going in really hard with the ink this time, just a bit. Just want it to move. And really you can see the effect that it has there. You can see where I put the ink on, but where the die cut has acted like a stencil, and we're going to do the same down here. Just going over with my brush, and again you can see the effect there of using it as a stencil. I'm not too worried that it all looks the same. This is just all adding texture, and then I'm going to do a little bit with the fired brick as well, but not too much, just a little bit. A little bit in the corner there, and a little bit in the corner here. just gives a little bit of an impression. So before I finish with my ink brushes, I am going to just finish putting some ink over this, because this is the bit that I'm going to cut up to create my texture. So I seem to have all the green in one place and all the red in another today. Not to worry. Put a bit more green there, and a bit more red there, and there, and a bit there. Okay, I'm going to put that to one side to cut up shortly. Want those out still for a bit of stamping. Let's move those to the side. Just clean this up. Right, okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, in fact, I'm not going to do that right now because I want to just, I'll let that dry a bit. I'm going to stamp out our bits that we want for the cards. So I have used, let's open this out. Ooh. You can see I put a bit of paper in here when I was doing the sample, so I can kind of see where I stamped everything. Let's take the set out. So I am going to use the label. And I think I had the label down there, so I'm going to put that there. I will move the copy of paper in a moment. What else did I have? I had this big daisy, gerbera. We had that one there too, and it has one with nature. Now that's these here, these little ones. It has one with nature. Okay. Oh, I need to put them face down. I need to put them face down because when this comes over, it will take them back. So I'm going to do that. And then I am going to get my piece of card that I want to stamp onto. It's going everywhere. Card in. Some. Okay, so I am using the Finesse Spectrum Noir Finesse waterproof die, and I'm using Flagstone, which is a kind of a grey, dark grey black. Now, one thing, and you can see it on my stamp. If I just move this, I don't want, this says rosemary, and I don't want that on my particular project. So I'm going to ink the daisy up. I'm going to ink these. And the thing is, if I can't 100% see whether I've got enough ink on, but I'll know when I put it over there. So with this, I made sure I did this top bit first. And then carefully, she says, I might just have moved myself out of shot there. So just bear with me. Trying to make sure I'm getting the edge, but not that word. So going to we'll see. Proof is in the pudding. You may need some more. So that goes down. Good push down. And we'll see what we've got. Okay, so I need a little bit more pressure. Normally at home I would stand up. Bear with me. I put the pressure on. Right, I've got the daisy. I think I might need a bit more ink on the tag Yeah, let's put a little bit more ink. This is the beauty of a stamping platform, is you can go back, you can re-ink, you can add more ink. Where did I not? I didn't get it at the bottom somewhere. Oh, I can feel now I've just put it on the lid of my stamping platform. So I'm just gonna grab. Do you know, I get it in more of a mess stamping like this than I do when I'm doing on my inky backgrounds, because I end up with ink in the wrong place and I put my elbow in it. Right, let's see what we've got now. Okay. I am just going to do this, excuse me, probably totally obliterate your image of what I'm doing. You can see the top of my head, but I do apologise. We'll go with that, because I am going to paint over that. It's me faffing rather than. I'm going to give it one go. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can get some ink on that to go to my ink. Let's see how we're going this time. Yeah, that'll do. We'll go with that because I want it to be quite arty, so I'm not too worried. So I do want this daisy stamp for my background, so I'm just going to take that one off and put it on there. Yeah, that's the only one I want. So what I'm going to do, rather than faffing about putting those away, I'm just going to put my little bit of copy paper back in and close the lid and put that to one side. Okay, right, so I am now going to cut these out. Oh, look. Sometimes, I know quite often these days, you get sets of stamps that come with the dies to cut them out, but sometimes you just don't need them. Nice, just a little bit of fussy cutting. It's quite straightforward. This is a tag, is a lovely one. Let's cut that round like so. Okay, that's that done. I'm going to cut straight up there. I am going to get my smaller scissors for this little kind of Gerber daisy. Get rid of the excess. And then, again, excuse my bit of hair. I'm going to go round. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to paint this Gerber with the fired brick. And I'm going to ink the tag mostly with cracked pistachio, but then paint a little bit over. As you can see, I went over a little bit over these with the fired brick, and the same with here. Just that was just inking over cracked pistachio, and then edging with the fired brick. So just bear with me while I cut this out. And this one it's not a tricky one to cut, and actually it's quite forgiving if you do kind of miss a little bit, because the petals are uneven. It's not like one of those sort of more abstract symmetrical things that will show if you've made a little bit of a move. This kind of doesn't. It's very forgiving, and I don't want to sort of, as they say, teach your granny to suck eggs, but if you're not familiar with fussy cutting, it's more a case you keep the scissors still and you move the card. So you're not going backwards and forwards with the scissors like that. The scissors kind of stay there and you move the card around as you're cutting. The more you do it, the better you get at it. But that said, I will still manage to cut off butterfly antennae and all those kind of tiny, weeny little things on some of them. Right, so there's our gerbil cutout. There's our tag cutout. And then with these, I am not even bothering with my guillotine. I'm quite happy for them to be fairly irregular. And uneven, so I'm just literally cutting them with my scissors. Let's make sure I haven't lost them all. There's at. I was just looking for one. Where did one go? Oh, there it is. At. One. So let's put those for there. Okay. I'm going to put those to one side for the moment. I'm going to go back to this stamp and back to my background here. And I'm going to now use this to stamp with. Now, I might still have a bit of ink on here, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Oh, no. I think we're done with that. That's good. So, we're going to use the Firebrick. When I tried putting the cracked pistachio on, excuse me, it didn't really show up. So, I'm just going to go with Firebrick and a bit of black soot. And again, this is one where I'm not worrying if I've covered the stamp completely. I don't really want to obliterate too much where I've got that lovely stenciling. So kind of just choose your places where it's going to be visible but not obliterate other things. That's probably enough. Maybe a little bit up there. And then I'm just going to do it once with the black soot. But before I stamp that on, I am just going to stamp it off on to paper just to get rid of the really dark bit of it. I just want it to kind of just show a little bit. That will do. So done with the stamp. Now we can get back. Oh yes, no, there's nothing else I want to do for that for the moment. So that can go to dry as well, and we are going to. Oh, I'm just going to grab my punch here, my crocodile. I'm just going to get rid of the hole. Not get rid of the hole, but punch the hole in the tag. Okay, so I did it 3 times because the hole, the punched hole, is not quite as big as the hole there, but three did it. So what I'm going to do is get my cracked pistachio, and I want that to just going to ink over those with a brush. So, and I'm looking, I can see I've got Firebrick on my fingers, so I'm putting dirty fingerprints everywhere, but I'm not too worried. More of that on. Okay, and then I'm going to go over the 4 words. This is another good reason to use waterproof ink, so that I'm putting stuff over the top and it's not going to move. This is water-based. The distress oxides are water-based, so this is waterproof. The waterproof ink that I use. Okay, so that's those, and that's think that for that. And then I'm just going to just do the edges of these with a brush. Just make it stand out a little bit. Looks like I've done this a lot lighter than that one, but that's okay. I'm not too worried. Leave it to dry for a bit. And then just around the edges of these. I do like with the brushes how you get that kind of little feathered effect when you go round. Okay. At the moment, I'm not too fussed about cleaning up because I'm going to put some of the fired brick on my mat anyway, because that's what I'm going to be painting my gerbera with. So we'll clean the mat in a moment. Let's get these done first so they can be drying. One more. I think I am going to put a little bit more cracked pistachio on that tag, but very quickly. A little bit more on the tag. Okay. So I am now going to get my little daisy, and I'm going to grab a brush or two. What have I got? Let me try these two. And I am going to put, just going to move some of it out of the way so I'm not getting everything wet. Put some fired brick onto my mat. I am going to spray, I'm not going to spray directly on there. I'm going to spray just to the side of it because I want a first wash which is going to be quite light, and then I can go in with the less dilute. Oh, I've got something on my brush there. Okay, so a little bit more. So I'm literally just going over with like a wash, just to get a base colour onto all the petals. I feel like I've got really mucky fingers here. I'm not at the moment worried too much about the direction I'm going in, because in a minute I'm going to start adding in more light and shade. Okay, so if you look at the way the petals have been drawn, you can see where ones overlap each other. So what my intention, excuse me, it's not to cough. What my intention is to do is to show that overlapping with shading. So for every petal, the inside, the inner is darker. I just feel like the whole thing I'm doing is quite light. So this petal here is underneath that one. So just need a bit more shading there. And this petal here is underneath that one. So water. So this should be lighter, and this bit here darker. And again, this bit here is under. So again, should be slightly darker. So all the petals I'm making it sort of darker near the center and wherever it is underneath, and then I'm going back to my more watered down version and then just bringing that out a little bit. I think there's too much water there. Kind of lost the dark. I'll come back to that one in a minute. I might just block that. A bit too much water on there. Bear with me. Go back in and do my dark there. And then this petal here again, this is underneath, so that one needs to be darker. This one's over the top, it's got nothing on, it's not underneath anything. So literally just making it dark at the base of the petal and then lighter towards the end. Okay, let's go on to this one. So here, dark there, but then this bit is underneath So that bit also needs to be dark, and then pick up a bit more water and blend that out. And then this bit here is underneath, so that also needs to be darker. And then here, there. Now, looking at the one, see this petal underneath there, that's underneath there. I do think I did it a lot darker on the one I already done, but you know, it's no problem. Again, so this one is underneath here. So where it's underneath, you just give it a little bit of shadow and bring it out. So darker here and along where it's underneath. And then with a bit of water, just bring that out. I'll still need a bit more dark there, I think. And then just keep going round. Pretty much the same for most of these petals. Got one bit that's underneath this one's underneath that, and it's also underneath that. You just sort of pay attention to the drawn image. It kind of tells you where to do your light and your shadow. It's just a case of, you know, looking and thinking about, you know, how these things overlap. Where would a shadow be caused? This one's on the top, so there's nothing, no shadow on that one. This one is underneath there. And then this one is underneath there. And even if you do, you know, do it in slightly, you know, not necessarily anatomically correct. I mean, who's gonna bother? Who's gonna worry? Just add a little bit of shading in some way, just to give it that 3D kind of look. Again in there, and it's dark under that bit there. And then in there, this one's on the top, so there's no shading there. And then this one is right at the bottom, so we'll give that a nice little bit of dark shading in there so that it is. Okay, right. So I'm then just going to put a little bit of the cracked pistachio on my mat. I am just going to clean my brush off in a little bit of water because it's very red at the moment. Oh! Before I clean the red, I am just going to do what I did before, which is to go over some of this. Let me just make that a bit more wet, a bit wetter. I'm just going over some of these on here, just to again blend it in with the colour scheme. I'm not being too fussy if I've got them all directly over. It just sort of gives it a little bit more sort of link to the rest of the colour scheme. Right, so let's just clean the red off that brush and just get a little bit of the I'm not worrying about shading in the middle. I'm just gonna, I know that flowers don't generally have a green centre, but it fits my colour scheme, so that's what it's having. Okay, right, so I think all the bits are done. Let's just have a little bit of a clean up. With a bit of rice paper. Okie dokie, and move things out of my way that I'm not going to knock over, and let's see if we can assemble our card. So I need my base, which is here. And then I know what I do want to do. Where's my black suit? There. Oh, my black brush. I am just going to go around the very edge of this. I am faffing, I know. But I do like to faff when I'm doing inky stuff. So. Not a huge amount, it just gives it a little bit of an edge. There we go. Over there. Oh, lovely mucky hands. Okay, so